Here's number 10, and two important concepts here, bias and variability. And we want to make sure that we realize that this arrow is the truth. This is reality, and then over here is our sampling. This is our sampling. So how do we do? Well, it's pretty tight, and it's got its own center here, but the sampling center is off. So here, for number 1, we're going to say we've got, since we're off, we'll call that bias. So this is high bias and low variability. What about this one? Well, this is what we want. Our reality is, and I don't know if these color changes are going to be worth the time. I'm trying to go back and forth between red and blue here. But here is reality, and what has our sampling done? Our sampling has nailed it. So our samples have properly estimated the true parameter, and we've got low bias. So this is ideal. This is low, that's a low B and a low V. What about over here? Well, we seem to have centered in on the true parameter, but we've got all this variation, all this variability. So, low bias, whatever we're doing to estimate reality is centered on reality, but we've got high variability. So that's kind of a problem. And then over here, we've got really high bias. We missed, right? Here's our center right here, and that is high bias. With all this clustering, we also have low variability. Now, if we compare these two, I guess you could argue that this variability is not as low as this variability. So now that we have all 4 answers out, this one in the corner here is a little more ambiguous, and I suppose if you wanted to call this medium, that's not really an option, but relative to the others that says medium, it's still biased, but this gap here is certainly not as biased as this gap over here. And it's pretty spread out, but it's not as spread out as the one in letter C. So I still stand by my answer for A as high bias and low variation. It's just not as strong as the other 3. The other 3 are less ambiguous.